Hey, it's Coach Dr. Kim, and today I have with me Don Dixon. And when I was thinking about someone that overcomes adversity, that pursues in the face of just many challenges, and who would tell the truth? Who's a truth teller on this? She's the first one that popped in my head because that's what she does. Like she literally tells you the truth. Those courses and seminars that everybody can get through this without a problem, no obstacles. Don is not going to feed you that line because it's bull. So we're going to protect our pieces and get some advice and tips from Don Dixon, the extraordinaire entrepreneur of all time. And please say hello to the ladies, Don.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here with you, Coach. I've known you my whole life.
Hold on.
And so it's definitely an honor to be here. And I love the work you're doing and, just uplifting the women in your community, really pouring into them and helping them to really understand what it takes, to get to that next level.
hmm And in thinking about how to start this, I was like, okay, yeah, we've known each other our whole life. So where do I start? And I want to start with a confession. So the confession is, y'all, when Don started his entrepreneur stuff, we thought she was crazy. Like someone that sleepovers, cheerleading, dinner with family, like that. I was that close. And I was like, she done lost her mind. We don't do this. And I meant we as in like black people who don't know where their paycheck is coming from. Like, why would we gonna sign up for uncertainty? So we all looked at her a little side-eyed and we was talking about her behind her back. I'm just gonna be honest, she knew we were. And but not in a bad way. We were cheering,
I
but
know.
we were like, you crazy as hell. I don't even know. Like we don't become millionaires unless we play sports. Like who does this? And then
Yeah.
Don just went on a limb. So, like, can you just tell us how first in that first stage when you were doing what people thought was crazy, how did you stay focused?
I think just having that confidence in myself and believing in myself and quieting the noise. And that's something that I even talk to my entrepreneurs about today that I coach is like quieting the noise, not listening to what people say. It's going to always be doubters, people who don't understand. But you know me a long time, so I've always just done me anyway. Like it's just
Right.
in my personality to just do whatever I want. And I think like the defiance and like the being outgoing and being outspoken, it helped me in this journey as an entrepreneur. Maybe not being like falling in line in school or with my parents, but the things that I got in trouble for as a kid are the things that really helped me now, moving forward in my career. Well, in my 20s, I started my first company when I was 21. Yeah.
hmm And I mean, first of all, you give hope to parents who have those kids that like to color outside the lines and just do everything their way. And I don't know, I learned from you not to rein my kids in too tight and not to squash their creativity. And guess what? They don't have any desire to do what I did for a living or their father. They don't want to retire from some place for after 30 years, all those things. And so I want to say thank you because I lived that life and that life cut me off at the knees like I didn't even matter. So I don't want that for them.
Yes. And now you've turned it around. And before, some people wait their whole life and look back and wish they would have, but you took an opportunity, a health opportunity, and turned that into a
Mm.
life-changing opportunity. And so I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of what
Oh,
you've done. You, Carrie, the girls, like you guys are very inspiring to me as well.
that means a lot. And because still I strive toward, you're striving toward the mark always. I am. And you're like a role model in that way. And I was actually listening to the Breakfast Club again for like the millionth time, your interview. And it was reminding me like he really is like the role model because you were talking about the first woman millionaire crowdfunding. And I was just like, man, that's when it's a shame it took to that, but I think that is really when everybody was like, well, dang, she wasn't playing.
I know.
All these years.
I told you for years, my parents, my mom specifically, she crazy, and they be like, "What is Dawn do?" And my mom say, Dawn got a Tommy job. Don't nobody know what Dawn does. Like, you know, on
My
Martin,
brother,
they
you
say,
should
Tommy,
say
you
that
ain't got no
about you.
job. Tommy, you ain't got no job. They will say, Dawn has a Tommy job. Like, we don't know what Dawn does, but as long as she's not asking us for money, it's fine. Like, whatever.
Right. And my mom
But
always
they didn't
said,
take me seriously. They did
she'd be like, Don, you know Don, if she say she gonna do it, she gonna do it. So it may not look like what it's supposed to look like to us, but it's gonna work some kind of way. That's just be that was
I
Grandma
appreciate
Ann's
her
take.
confidence in me. Yes,
It's just
but that
really
is,
odd
it's
how you think
been
you'll get
decades.
support from here, and then like someone is in their, senior citizen years is looking at you like, I'm sure she never saw that in her lifetime. She and would have, some pride in there. And for her, we the haters, and she like, she gonna do what she said she gonna do. So that's
It's not
cool.
always easy, that's for sure. But I like, I just say consistency and staying at it. It's literally been 24 years since I started my first business. I cannot believe how that time went by. But now, after 2 decades and a half, yeah, I mean, they finally take me seriously. It took me 20 years to get taken seriously. I'm not even joking.
Hmm.
I'm
And you
not
know
even
what? I want to
joking.
draw a parallel to that because I just realized something. Like, I'm not saying that I did anything wrong, but if you just take a risk averse person, me, and you take Don, who goes out and pursues dreams and goals, I built my career over 20 years and then got it taken away because it wasn't mine. It was actually somebody else's. Whereas Don, you were in the trenches. I mean, you've had highs, lows, and everything in between 20 years, and you were building yours, and it's still yours. Like when I heard you say I went in and fired everybody, I was like, that because it was yours. And no matter
Yeah.
how anybody felt about whatever it went down, you owned it. And so working for someone else for that same amount of time would have not put you where you are. And that's that
Yes,
hump
but I
that we
also
got to get
think that
over.
like you working for someone, well, obviously you're highly educated. So like your education puts you in a certain place for the kind of roles that you could actually even be in. But I still feel like even though you say they took away your career, they didn't. They couldn't because
Hmm.
you you have done so much. Your credentials, your accomplishments, they can't be taken away. They could take away a job,
Hmm.
which honestly you had maxed it out. You were done. It was nothing else. And I'm happy that happened because you would have had 25 PhDs by the end of this thing. You would have kept getting more degrees. So instead of starting your own business, which it was time,
It was
because
time.
there's only so high that you can go when you work in another organization. The difference is when you work for yourself is infinite possibility. So they didn't
Mm.
take your career from you. You were allowed to raise your children with security, knowing that you don't have to worry about where your money is coming from. Now, listen, we're being honest, right? It's not easy. I've definitely slept on couches, stayed at friends' house. God done pulled some many miracles off in my life. That's how I know I'm on the right path because
Mm.
it's been many times where I was like, where is the money coming from? And it just
Hmm.
showed up somehow. And that's that blind faith. You have to have that blind faith. Faith is the confidence in things you cannot see and don't
Right.
even know what's going to happen. So that's
Hmm.
been able to keep me going. But it's not for the weak because literally, if the rent's due tomorrow and you don't have it, and I've been there multiple times, and then it just showed up, I'll be like, oh, thank
That's
you.
the season I'm in and
So
learning. Like it comes. It really does. Like
come.
I mean, I'm not gonna even lie. Like this week, I was in a space where I was thinking, what am I doing? This is not, and then we got a check. And I'm like, but that I wasn't expecting. I know people say that stuff all the time, but it's what you put out and it comes back. And I was like, I'm not even gonna worry about it. Harry's like, just don't look at the numbers. He's
It's
he's like, just
true.
don't look at them. It'll fix. It'll fix.
So easy to say, like to go to church or wherever your faith is and go and say, oh, I trust you, God. I believe that you're going to be there. But in the moment when it's time to demonstrate you trust, and that means really just releasing it and letting it go and releasing it to God and just being like, you know what? I know you didn't bring me this far to just drop me off on the curb. So I'm going to just take a deep breath and just relax and not be stressed, because stress just eats you up from the inside. It doesn't serve you. And so for me, when it's like, when I feel like, okay, I've done all that I can and there's nothing else I can do and I'm trying my best, I just say, you know what, God, it's on you. And I go and just spend my last $5 on something I like. I'll spend my last money going out to eat. Like, you know what? I'm about to have some lobster, okay? And God, you go ahead and handle this.
I
And
love
it
that.
always works out. It has never not worked out. 24 years, it has never not worked out. And I'm currently in some situations that are not working out yet, but I
Hmm.
know, like, okay, it eventually will work out. I don't know what the end game is, but it'll work
Yeah.
out. And I just leave it
Right.
at
Because
that.
it's
Don't
yet,
work it
yet.
anything. Yes. And just
Whew.
focus on what I can control. Focus on what I can do. Some things
Hmm.
nothing I can do about. So I just let it go, then say, all right, well, whatever I can control, I can control. And I'll focus on that.
It's amazing how God does line you up right where you need to be. Last night I was coaching with a woman, and of course she ends up coaching me because that's how it always goes. But like aha moments that she like almost not even aha moments, like locked doors in her mind started opening. And then as those opened, she was able to talk to me, and then doors opened for me. And then I mean, like we say, we know each other for a lifetime, but we don't talk like Zoom call on a regular. You live in Africa, you busy girl.
Yes.
And I am too. And so, but talking to you, this is exactly what I needed to hear today, like for real. And so I'm sure someone else needs to hear it because you like you got to be brave and courageous and do all the things you do, but there be stuff in the back of your mind sometimes you got to tell it to shut up.
Oh, I talk out loud. I'll be
Okay.
like, we're not doing
Yes.
this. No, stop. Like shut it out. Those negative thoughts come in and I'll literally just be like, we're not doing this today. No. And I'll intentionally put a good thought in my head. I mean, it's so important not to let your brain run wild with false
Mm.
narratives. And it can happen, it comes in my mind, especially even like as a parent. I live in Africa, yes, and my daughter's far away. And I'll get these thoughts sometimes like, oh, if something happened, and I'll be like, no, she's covered, she's protected, you're on
Hmm.
your right path, everything's going to be fine with her. Don't even start to think about what could happen to your child. No, we're not even going to do that. We're not
Right.
even going to go there. I'm only going to put positive thoughts in my mind. And it's like a daily thing I have to remind myself.
Right.
If something comes in my head that's negative, or man, what if it doesn't come, or wow, what if I don't, like, nope, I am, it's going to work out. No matter what, it's going to work out. It's like constantly affirming in my mind that it's going to be okay.
As crazy as it sounds, as a minister who is Christian, my mind is so hard to wrap around that I need to do that unless I'm applying it to something practical like what we're talking about. I think people forget that no matter what your foundational belief is, our brains will bully us if
Yes.
we allow it. Like just being
And go
human, that is an
crazy, make up
aspect of
whole
us.
stories, make up just things that don't exist, and
Oh
then
my
you feel
goodness.
yourself having a physical reaction. You feel yourself getting anxiety, getting nervous, getting
Mhm.
that sick feeling in your stomach, and nothing has happened.
Nothing.
It's just with the thought of what could happen.
I
Why
missed
torture
a
yourself in that way?
whole day of elementary school, and I'm not even gonna say the boy's name, but we were supposed to be boyfriend and girlfriend, and he was a little cutie pie back then, and I broke up with him, and I didn't go to school the next day because I had a fever, stomach ache. I mean, I legitimately had those symptoms. And
Made
my mom was
yourself
like,
sick.
"What happened to you?" And I was like, I don't know. But I had been crying and I was physically ill. And so my
Yes.
body does respond that way. Well, stroke survivor here. So it's like, if anybody needs evidence that you will become physically ill if you do not talk to your brain and tell it to shut up, then here I am. Because
Yes.
and that
Yes.
started young. I
And
didn't know that. If you know you're at in your kid or some youth that you're working with now, start now. Don't wait till they in their 40s and you got to unlearn a bunch of stuff.
when I realized that my daughter was like that, an overthinker, gets really
Hmm.
nervous, I got her life coach when she was 15. Like, we're not even about to do this.
Oh
She
yeah.
started working with and every other week, at least twice a month. And she's been working with her. Now she's 20. So she's had this person for 5 years now, just to help her to manage her own thoughts and the things that she goes through because,
Hmm.
we didn't have anybody like that. We was just figuring it out when we was younger. And
I can't
I just
even.
was like,
Oh my
I wanted
gosh.
to have
Yeah.
somebody to talk to outside of
Yeah.
me that can get for another perspective. So yeah, it's so important. We all need coaches. The coaches need coaches. Everybody needs a coach, a therapist, somebody to talk to that's going to be unbiased and give you advice. That's not a parent, that's not a
Hmm.
spouse, that's not somebody that will have feelings because you don't want them projecting their own feelings because they care about you onto
Hmm.
you and making it worse.
Yeah.
So it's so important to have that person. So I love that you're doing this
Feelings
work
and
because you probably
judgment.
say, yes, their judgment, yes,
Woo.
their judgment because they
Yeah.
care about you, and so they
Hmm.
can't help but to. They can't help but to.
Right.
So it's that's a big part of it. Having somebody to talk to is definitely big.
And I know, this is kind of a pivot, but it's like still part of that full wellness. You've always been when I say, Don, what you doing now? You be like, I'm taking bee honey and and a dandelion and a piece of grass. Like, and then I'm talking to my spirit guide and my like you definitely have had some experience, some varied experiences. Which ones have stuck, like the ones you just never shake and they work for you to keep you centered?
I do it all still. I'm really into the herbs and the natural
Hmm.
healing and the homeopathic healing. I'm so into it. My health is great and I accredit it to like 20 years of like consistency in doing fasting regularly in my diet. Fasting is a
Hmm.
great foundation. Um, whether it's like water fast or fasting if you're just going to do raw foods or fasting from, I like to do just no food fast at least. And now with this, I used to do it like once a week. That's a lot to do. So now I try to do it at least 2 or 3 days a week of just juices. And if I'm on the go, I'll have like raw fruits and vegetables as a part of the fast. But like fasting to clear your mind, to clear your body is so helpful. Because our body's so busy digesting food and it uses so much calories and so much energy digesting food. When you take away that, it clears up, it leaves your body space to do other things. So that's why I take it out, especially if there's something I'm trying to manifest quickly or like I need a miracle, I will not eat. That's
Hmm.
my thing. It's like I will not eat if I need a quick miracle. I'm not eating until we get a solution. And it usually comes within 24 to 48 hours. No matter what it is, it comes
Hmm.
if I just don't eat. So that's a big one, the fasting. But then the fasting is also good for like wellness and mental and physical, spiritual. Every religion has fasting incorporated. There's a reason for that.
Right.
It's a reason for
Yeah.
that mind, body, spirit connection. It clears the way for God to talk to you and for your body to talk to you and let you see what's going on. And then, I mean, obviously, I've been vegetarian, vegan for 20 years almost. And that's been really great for me, just really having a plant as a foundation on my eating. Even if you are a person that's like, listen, I'm eating my chicken, I'm not giving that up. Okay, just have plant based. If you
Hmm.
have a meal, have 80% of that plate natural foods. The other 20%, have you a piece of bread, have you a piece of chicken. But you
Right.
still got 80% fruits, vegetables, grains. So we don't have to be so extreme. I did learn that over time, you don't have to be so extreme. It's about being consistent. It's what you're going to see the results. Not being extreme for 2 weeks and then going right back to eating whatever. It's like being
Hmm.
consistent. That's helped me. The herbs is just so good. And then like I started doing the like more metaphysical and like the meditation and all those things probably like 15 years ago now. Yeah, 10 to 15 years ago. And that's how I learned to control my mind because it used to go
Hmm.
wild on me. Like it used to just run wild.
Yeah.
And when I learned how to meditate and just quiet my mind, like the skill to just make the voices stop, make the
Hmm.
wandering stop. I wonder what's over there, what they doing, or did I change did I need to go to the grocery store? Like just random stuff that don't have nothing to do, nothing going on
But
right
what you're
now.
doing, yeah.
Yes, I learned to make my brain focus on what I'm doing, whether it's being in silence, whether it's being in meditation or prayer, whether it's doing my work. I've been able to learn, and it takes time. Like it took me years to be able to really do that, and it's been helpful. So I think those are the
Hmm.
things, but I'm always trying something. I'm always
Yeah.
even now,
Yeah,
like
because you're not risk
I
averse.
want to be a aging influencer. So now I'm always trying something to anti-age or to preserve myself. So we'll see.
Can you believe we talking about preservation now? Like, what? When did this happen? We look good though, by the way. I'm
I
just
feel like I've been
saying.
thinking about this for a long time. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I would look at my family because remember, like 40s was
Mm,
old. 40s was old back when we was in our
yeah.
20s. 40s was old. So I'm like, man, I don't want to be like that. So what can I do? So I really started on my self-preservation journey about 20 years ago when I said,
Hmm.
how can I set myself up to when I'm 60 years old, I'm still walking and jumping and running. Like I want to be able bodied at 60, 70, 80. What do I need to do along the way to assure that I can do that, at least to the best of my ability? Obviously, an accident could happen or something like that. But many of the things that we deal with are caused by ourselves.
Hmm.
So I'm like,
Hmm.
what can I do to give me a better chance of being mobile and healthy in my older years? And so I started when I was in my 20s with the, vegan, with the herbs. Obviously I've been working out for 20 something years consistently. And I think I just want to age well. I don't want to be like, just can't get up out the bed or
I know
can't,
what
or
you, well,
fall down
you
and
know,
can't
like,
get up.
my
Like the
family.
falling and
So
can't get up is a real thing.
it's a
Can't
real
even lift your own
thing.
body weight. So we
Like
got to
just
think about
watching
those things.
diabetes and high blood pressure and to watch your loved ones die from
I've been
these
watching
things.
it. My uncle died, my grandmother died, my cousin died.
Mm.
He's
Hmm.
2 years older than me from diabetes related, weight related things that they could have prevented. My uncle lost his
Hmm.
leg. My
Mm.
grandmother died. So it's not a game for me because
Hmm.
I see what the outcome is. That's why I don't drink alcohol and I never smoke a cigarette. I've seen my relatives die from
Hmm.
alcohol related diseases. I've seen my uncle have a hole in his neck and still trying to smoke a cigarette. Like,
Oh,
no, I don't want to
yeah.
try anything that's going to get me so addicted that I will do that. So I
Yeah,
think
that
just
is true addiction. Oh.
watching our families and what they went through, we should know better. There's no reason for
Hmm.
us to follow down these paths that they didn't do it on purpose. Remember, our parents'
Right.
generation, doctors were saying 1 out of 3 doctors smoke this cigarette. Like they were talking about pregnant women trust
Oh.
this cigarette brand. Like this is what they were told in the marketing. They didn't
Hmm.
know cigarettes was going to kill you. They didn't know alcohol was going to kill you. But we now know. They didn't know
Hmm.
sugar, high fructose corn syrup, all of these chemicals are going to kill you. First of all, they didn't even have microwaves and all this fake food when they were growing up. So we're dealing with a whole nother ball game. We're the McDonald's
Hmm.
generation. We're the TV dinner, microwave dinner generation.
Yes.
So
I
we
know
had to
them
figure
golden
it
arches
out.
when I was a kid. I was like, Mickey
Yes.
D's.
That didn't
Yeah.
exist before. If you want a burger, you're gonna get you some hamburger and you're gonna put that
Hmm.
patty together, you're gonna make that hamburger. There was
Right.
no such thing. So we have had to adapt to everything changing around us.
Hmm. Hmm. And that is important because we adapt. So we don't have to keep passing on that legacy of illness.
Yes, we
And
don't.
it's up to us to break it.
Educating them, really educating them, our,
Hmm.
our, our kids. But I think they're doing great. I think we've done a great job.
Hmm.
Our kids are like the 2.0 version of us. They're like
They
have the
are.
good parts of us, but better
Yes.
parts we didn't get a chance to develop
Hmm.
early. Like
Hmm.
our kids are
Hmm.
so emotionally intelligent and like self-aware and like confident and things that just they weren't cultivating in us. Or if we did, it'd be like somebody like me who's in trouble for acting the way that I acted. I just didn't care. I would get smacked in
Hmm.
the mouth on a regular basis and did not care.
So I remember that version of you.
On a regular basis.
I mean, you feel feisty, but you know when and where to apply it.
Yes. Not by nobody but
So,
my mom. Keep in mind, my mom will smack me in the mouth, not no
right.
strangers.
Yeah, that's a good
But I would be like,
clarification.
no, because I know that I'm right. Because I know that I'm right, and I'm not backing down. I know I'm standing on business. And
And it
so,
serves
hey,
you well now. So, I
instead of
just
being
got
in the
one more
long run.
question for you, and it's a big one though, but you talk about it all the time, so I know it'd be easy for you to answer. Because this morning I was thinking, Don, the first Black woman to raise $1 million in crowdfunding. And then I was like, where she's at now is Don raised $1 million. That was what the headline would be. So how I can't even wrap my brain around it, having always, I mean, I've been to other
I
countries, but
know.
I raised in America. Everything I do, I'm the Black woman, the first Black woman, the
Yeah.
only Black woman,
And in that particular accomplishment, I was the first woman of any color. But they
any
still
color.
want to make me the Black. They still want to put Black in it. And they still want to box me in by Black. And that was a big one for me. I definitely felt like I reached my ceiling in America and I couldn't go any higher. And it was devastating because we grew up the same, like with the mindset, if you work hard, get your A's, go
Mm,
to college, get your degrees, work hard at work, show up every day, there's no limit to what you can do. This is the American dream. But then you get up there and realize, oh shit, being Black and being a woman will stop
mhm.
you in your tracks at some points. Luckily, you were able to get very, very high up. You got very, very high up, but they
Yeah.
wasn't gonna let you get but so far. But if you would have been a white man, none of the things that happened to you would have happened to you. And
Mm,
it's just the bottom line. It wouldn't have happened to you.
mm, mhm,
Me, what happened to my company if I was a white man, it never would have happened to me. So when I realized like my race is restricting my life and I can't go any further, that's why I moved to Africa. I mean, I know it's drastic. Most people will be like, girl, I can't just up and move to Africa. But yes, you can. I mean, you can do whatever you want, actually.
mhm,
But for me, I just got tired of, I'm an overachiever too. So I want to go as high as I can go. How far can I go in this life? If I see something's going to limit me, I'm not going to keep trying. I'm not going to kill myself trying to accomplish certain things in America
mm,
and I can't do it. And I really tried so hard, like in my 30s, to put my life in a certain place. I did everything right with my credit. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do everything right. I'm gonna do everything they tell us to do. I'm gonna do everything those investor people, the influencers, the life insurances, the this. I mean, I did everything according to how to build wealth playbook 101. And still, at the end of all of it, when something happened with my business, because I'm the owner of the business and I'm the guarantor, when the business was struggling, it came back on me personally. In the years that I worked hard to have good credit, my good credit was gone in 3 months.
mm,
And I said, "Oh wow, this is slavery. This is
mhm.
insane that I worked so hard to fit into this box and they can take it away so fast." And so now where I live now, there's no credit system at all.
Wow.
It's a
I didn't
cash
know that.
society. There's no credit cards.
Mhm.
There's no credit score. There's no such thing as credit. If you want a car, go buy it cash. If you want a house, you go buy it cash. Anything you want, you go buy it.
But you know what? And I don't
There
even mean
are
to
loans
stereotype.
at the
That
bank,
makes
but
sense. I had a
yes,
neighbor once from
the level
Ghana,
of
and
stress isn't here.
he
Americans
paid
are
cash for
stressed out, and most of
everything.
them are in debt.
Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
they're mostly in debt. The
Hmm.
Ghanaians have their own struggles, but they're not struggling because they're in debt. They own their house, they own their cars, and if you don't make any money, you guys just pay for your food every day. That's it, your food. But your housing and
Hmm.
your.
Wow.
And I think for me, it just helped me to shift my mindset, knowing like, wow, I really, really tried. I really did it all. I did it all. And it still didn't have the outcome that a white man could have.
Hmm. There's something you unlocked in my brain. I want to tell you just from that whole thing. I've been trying to make myself fit in some boxes lately. But I got that little voice. This one is my voice saying, just create your own. You don't have to do it that way. And then I talk myself out of it. And then I go back to create your own. You can do it. Then I say, no, I better do it the evidence-based way or the way they say works the best. But again, the universe delivers. You are saying, girl,
What's your
letting
way?
people
Because
put
their
you in that
way
box.
isn't made for us.
Hmm.
America's systems are set up. Everything is for white people. Now we
Hmm.
can slide through and make things happen. Of course, we do it. That's what we do. But it's not set up for us. The models, the proven things that work are not really set up for us. And they'll take a couple of black people to show like, look, black people can do it. But if you pay attention to the Black people in our country who have got really, really high up, usually it's something in their career at some time to bring them down and remind them, we will take this from you at any time.
And as we see lately, I ain't calling no names, but there have been some
A lot
catastrophic,
of them,
woo,
a lot of them,
they fall in like dominoes.
a lot of them. Whether they
Yeah,
did what
I
they did,
mean,
they did
ooh,
what they did. It doesn't really matter they did it or didn't do it. The point is, a white person under similar circumstances with the same situation, it wouldn't be happening like this.
mm-hmm.
They have to always remind us, stay in your place.
And we need to
And
remember that we got to be self-aware. You don't seek to become a part of some group that didn't want you there. Because, yeah, you might get there, but they keeping a tally of
they
all the
are,
things that they can do to get you back out. And it's just
yes.
flipping a switch. It don't take much. It don't even got to be true.
They got me out of there. They got me out of that. They got me out of that text so quick when I
Hmm.
said, "Oh, I want to empower Black people. I want to help, make Black millionaires and make more Black investors. I want to empower my people to get wealthy on early stage deals." They were like, "Nah, we don't want that.
That was the tipping
We're not
point.
gonna do
You
anything
were
to
doing
help
well,
this.
but don't bring no army. Don't bring no crew. Don't raise
Don't do it.
people
You can
up.
do it on your own." Yes, they don't want you to do that. Stay focus on you. We
Mm.
let you in, girl. Don't bring nobody else in, or we're gonna kick you out. And that's exactly what happened to me. And I'm not saying I'm not a victim. It's just reality. And I
It's
moved on, and I'm
reality.
doing.
Yeah.
It's reality. People get mad at me when I say that and be like, "Oh, you're acting like you're a victim." No, I've made millions of dollars. I'm not a victim, but I
You're a truth
experienced
teller.
reality.
You tell the
Yes,
truth.
I experienced reality, and I know for a fact if I wouldn't been if I'm not wasn't a Black woman, we would be having a whole different conversation because my accolades, my experience, what I've accomplished, what I have, what I built, it's it's big. But they're like,
Hmm.
no, 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 we're not
And
gonna
not
let you
that you
do that.
need any validation or affirmation, but it brought to mind. I went to an event where Tamara Burke spoke about her, the hashtag Me Too movement, and how she is in the red like almost every year. And I might be overstating that, but she showed us examples of companies who have capitalized on her platform and they don't look like her. They're white. I'm just be honest. And they are making millions in fundraising hand over foot.
Of
But it's
course,
hers.
of
Like it's
course,
hers.
of course,
And she's
of
begging
course.
for dollars. And they're just people just and the thing about these businesses or non whatever they're calling themselves, they are in business like 18 to 24 months. Some of them they close their doors. They're ripping people off.
Yes.
And it's like, but the person who is the original, the genuine, true soldier that started it all is still fighting for their just due. Like that's ridiculous.
And we're not going to change anything about the way that our country operates in our lifetime, but what we can change is the way that we operate, our mindset,
Mm,
how we move forward, and how we internalize these things, and how we cannot
hmm
let these things stress us out and define us and discourage us.
hmm
And I think now more than ever, we're awakening. It's like an awakening globally of us realizing our power and what we can do and what we're able to do collectively. And that's just what we have to stand on. Like, yeah, we can't control their systems. This country was set up, what, 400 something years ago for these people that left the UK for a new life. And we living in that country with them. But that's their
hmm
country. That's their house. We live in there with them. But nothing about this country was set up with us in mind. We were just supposed to be property and people to help them build their house.
hmm
So knowing that and
mm.
all that we've accomplished as a people, with that foundation, we can't expect it to change, but we have to go back to that spirit that we had, the Black Wall Street spirit, the
Mm.
Mount Vernon Avenue, the Tulsa, Oklahoma. We were self-sufficient at a time and we really fought hard to be separate. We were separate but equal. We wanted to be equal. Then we realized like, oh wait, it's never going to be. Okay, we learned that. Our grandparents, they fought hard. Those generations fought, but guess what? Now we thank y'all for fighting for this, but we realize they're just going to put more things in place. So now we're going to just got to just do it our way. We have to just
Right.
do it our way. And that's it.
Yeah. Very true. Like I'm just trying to digest it all. I'm interviewing you, and then I'm gonna have to listen just to get my lessons and write them down and take notes. So as you go forward, I know you pivoted in your career and you liberated yourself from the States. What's next for you? Like, what do you have in your vision?
Well, this is what I'm doing. You see these walls behind me? Now I have a new business and I do construction. And my purpose, you know me. You know I've always said I'm gonna live in Africa. Like I didn't know how, when, where, but I've always been obsessed with Africa. I
Mm-hmm.
finally made it here. And my purpose in life for this phase of my life is really to help those of us who want to come to Africa, whatever, mainly right now, Ghana and Rwanda, because that's where I'm based,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to come here, build a house affordably, reestablish and start to set up life for our future generations. So maybe, yeah, it's not good for you, Kim, to move here now, but maybe set up some investment property or something for your grandchildren or your
Mm-hmm.
daughters later on to be able to have something. That's all. I'm helping us to what they say repatriate. I'm just helping us
Mm-hmm.
to not get taken advantage of in Africa in a new country. So
Yeah.
now I'm building homes. We use this material right here. It's natural earth material, beautiful homes that we're building. I've
Mm-hmm.
sold almost $10 million in real estate in Ghana and Rwanda in less than a year to people outside of Ghana and Rwanda. So Americans, people from the UK, people from the Caribbean, have a few clients, Black people from Canada, so Black Canadians that
Mm-hmm.
found me online. And so yeah, I'm not doing tech anymore. I'm building homes, but it's so important work to me. I'm passionate about it because a lot of times we get over here and we don't know where to start. We don't know who to trust. So I want to be that trusted person who, if I give Dawn my money to build me a house or get me, it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
done right. I'm not going to get scammed. She's going to vet it. She's going to make sure that I'm okay. And I think that's what we need to feel confident and comfortable because the media has done a great job of building a mistrust between us and
Yes.
anything to do with Africa
Mm-hmm.
our whole life. Africa's poor. They got flies. They starving. They scammers. So now I'm trying to reprogram us to trust our brothers and sisters there. And if you don't trust them yet, you can trust me. And I'm gonna make sure
Mm-hmm.
that what you're trying to do, you get done. And so it's actually the most rewarding work that I have done so far.
So I'm glad because that means you'll probably be at it for a while when I get my dollars right. And we've been
Yes.
talking about Carrie and I. Since when you started doing this, we were like, okay, we got to do this. So it's
I
on
can
the
build you a nice 2 bedroom nice house for about $60,000, about
really.
1,000 square feet house for about
Hmm.
$60,000, and it'll
Well,
be
it
very nice.
might be sooner than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I have clients building their dream homes, 5,000 square feet houses for like $160,000. So
Hmm.
beautiful homes, swimming pools, off grid.
Hmm.
All my houses are fully off grid, so you'll never have electric bill, you'll never have a water bill ever. You just once your house is built
Wow.
in your house, yeah.
You talking my
So that's like
language.
that's what I'm really that was my life goal. Like I want to be off grid. I want to have a farm. I want, and I own a farm
Me
now too.
too.
I
I
own
like
a
no
farm in
joke, Don. I want
Rwanda,
to have a farm in St. Lucia, and I'm going to. So
and you will. So you just say I will have a farm in St. Lucia.
I will have
That's
a
the
farm in
plan.
St. Lucia. That's the plan. And I have the
Right.
resources. Family members, have agricultural degrees and they were educated in Cuba. And so they are already farmers. And I'm like, okay, this will happen.
So all you gotta do is get your land, share crop, their version of sharecropping. That's what I do in Rwanda. I have a guy that I let him live in my
Hmm.
house for free, and he caretakes my whole property. So I instead of paying him to take care of all my land and my farm, I let him have free housing at my house, and then I pay him a small. I mean, $25 a month in the U.S. is like
Hmm.
300,000 francs. So he's happy, happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Right.
30,000 francs, 30,000 francs, sorry. So he's happy. And that's the great thing about using your US dollars and leveraging them out of the country. Even right now in Ghana, it's 15.8 to 1, sometimes up to 16.5 to $1. So the Ghana cedi. So I can take my dollars and just stretch them so much further. So even you in St.
Hmm.
Lucia, you can stretch your money
Oh,
so much
absolutely.
further
Yeah.
So even those of you who are listening and you're like, I'm not ready to move, I have small kids, or I have aging parents, or I have responsibilities, even investing your money in another country where your money goes further is something to look into. There are a lot of countries that are solid places you can invest. Rwanda is definitely one of them. Kim has family in St. Lucia, so if you have family somewhere that can help you, that's always a bonus. But like, just start looking outside of America. The American currency is devaluing every day. If you're paying
Mm,
attention to what's happening in the global markets, we can only be a superpower for so long. So
it's getting
start to
bad.
look ahead for your future, our retirement in 20 years,
Mm,
our grandchildren. This is the time now to start planning your future. And I know that we're into a global, it's a global economy right now. There's all these smaller, like BRICS is one, they're creating their own currency and their own system.
hmm
West Africa, so Mali, Burkina Faso, um, Cote d'Ivoire, and another Senegal have come together and formed their own alliance, and they're backing all of their currency from by gold, and they're redeveloping their entire nations together. They're all young leaders under 50. So just
mm.
start paying attention to what's going on so that you can put your money in places where it's going to be safe. Because I don't really know how safe the US is going to be. And when it's time for us to be, 65, who knows?
Yeah, that was the dream. I mean, that was the values instilled, work to that age, and then everything will be fine. It's not what's happening.
Not what's happening. Also,
Mm-mm.
when you get older, you're on a more fixed income. And
Mm-hmm.
so with the way that the inflation and the economy goes in the US, retired people can't afford to live off the fixed income that they set. But in Africa, in a lot of countries, it's very stable as far as you can go very far. So that's why you see a lot of retirees moving to Ghana. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
people here are older people because you can take your $2,000 fixed income and live well. In
Yeah,
Rwanda,
yeah.
take your $2,000, $2,500, whatever, and live well. You don't worry about it. And then healthcare is so, so, so affordable, so
Mm-hmm.
affordable. So also thinking about where do you want to, when it's time to thinking about real health issues that we all gonna face, whether you eat healthy or not. I mean, I'm banking on being healthy forever, but you never know.
Right.
People healthy and vegan get cancer too. Where
Mm-hmm.
do you want to be? Can you afford to heal yourself? Can you afford medical care? In the United States,
Mm-hmm.
it's just not affordable. It's just not affordable.
Mm-mm. The payment plan not even affordable.
It,
You try to tell them
no,
the minimum you can pay, they'd be like, "That's not enough."
no,
You're
no.
like, well, "That's all I
But
got."
these countries have amazing doctors. You're in the healthcare profession, so think
Mm-hmm.
about where the doctors come from. Nigeria, Ghana,
Yep.
global people. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are going back to their countries and starting practices. So I've met some amazing doctors and physicians in Ghana and Rwanda, and that's now I've
I'm
transitioned my
so glad
healthcare
they're
over.
going back because that what brain drain or we just take everybody's
Yes,
talent. It's unfair to the population that they're leaving, and so I'm glad to hear that
yes,
they are returning home because the people there deserve a healthy life too.
they are. I mean, it's a ways to go because obviously you get paid so much in the States and
Hmm
in the UK, but they're coming back and starting they're training people. So a lot of great things are happening. It's just time to start looking and exploring and thinking about, planning ahead because 20 years goes by fast. We already in our
It
40s. I just turned
does.
21. I just turned 21 and now I'm about to be 26.
It's like, oh my goodness, it's yesterday.
I know.
But yeah, you really got me thinking about a lot of things. So I know everyone who's listening is going to be thinking about a lot of things, and I'm like, oh, now I got to get my money on so I can pay Don some coaching and consulting fees because I want to throw this out there too. We friends, and Don will do favors for friends, but y'all stop expecting friends to give you their expertise always for free. Time is an investment. It's time. Time's not free. It is an investment. And so her spending this time with me on this video, I am fully aware that she has businesses to run and things to do. And so I'm grateful.
Oh, thanks for
And
having me.
so when you reach out to her, don't be asking her, can she just tell you how to do this in an email? Like y'all need to
I do
actually
have
support.
coaching. I do offer Africa coaching for $75 an hour for a half an hour. And I mean, people do it and I give them the whole blueprint. And then I
Hmm
have business coaching too. But this is impact work, right? Like what we're doing
Right.
with community, and I'm happy to be on this call right now because if I can
Hmm.
touch anybody in any way, that makes my life worth it. You know, the things that I've been through, if
Yeah.
I can share, it's very rewarding to me to expose people to just what I've learned. So I'm happy for the opportunity to do that. And you know, I love, I mean, the Black women, we're driving the globe, and we need to continue to pour into each other and
Each
ourselves because
other.
they're
Hmm.
depleting us at every turn. So we
Hmm.
have to pour into each other. Nobody's going to have our back but us.
Yeah.
Really. Nobody. So I'm always down to pop in. And if you want me to come back and say like your community sees this interview and is like, Kim, we really want Dawn to talk more about this one topic, then let's do a webinar. Let's do
Okay.
it. I'll
Okay.
come back. Yeah.
See, she's a good friend. I'm telling you, because her time is valuable. And I mean, I know she said what she said, but I don't, because I don't take this lightly. Like this is very meaningful for me, and I know it'll be meaningful for other people. And as far as I see it, you are the impact because as we've been talking about this and preparing for, I'm gonna cry. As we've been talking about this and preparing for this, I could think of a lot of things I might not have done, like even cheerleading. I was not a cheerleader girl. I was a nerd. And so that
Mm.
just seems so far out of what anybody would have me do or see. And here I am trying out to some reggae music and doing these dance moves that I would only dare do in my bedroom. And so I just so emotional. But I
I
wanted
love
you to
this.
know that I love you and I've always watched you. So even if I never said it, I was watching and I was learning. And so I was able to pass those lessons on to my girls. And so I appreciate it.
Me too. It definitely goes both ways. I love you very, very much, and I'm proud of you. And you like the super genius of the crew. Like
The
you're the
nerd. I
super
am. I'm like the
genius.
brain.
You
Pinky in the
too.
brain. I'm the
We
brain.
all have a very important role because not everybody's built to be entrepreneur or not. It's not time in that space of the career.
Right.
So we need you to show our youth you can go and reach, go through academia and reach the highest heights of academia. You can do that because
Hmm.
Kim is showing you that you can do that. So I think between our group of friends, like all of us have taken different paths, but everybody is doing something that is important to demonstrate that it can be done.
Hmm.
So I'm
Hmm.
just grateful, like my journey, but I wouldn't even have been able to be me without my support system. Nia,
Hmm.
how many days was she at Miss Ann's house? How many nights did she spend? How many overtime evenings? How many, so it's like it took a village with this one. This girl,
Oh
Nia, it took a
yeah.
village. And I'm grateful. So I never pretend like I will be here on my own. It's not a
Hmm.
solo journey. Success is not achieved by individual. Nobody can say, "Oh, uh people say this stuff like what's the saying where they say I did it all myself and nobody helped
Oh
me." It's not
yeah.
possible.
That's not
It's
possible.
not
No.
possible. So I'm grateful to have you in my tribe for literally like 38 years. Thank you for
Hmm.
family, treating us always like family, and for
Hmm.
bringing me into this new community that I'm a part of. So please keep me in the loop about what's going on in the Kim Regis community. And I'm down.
Yes. Yay. It's gonna be good. I got all kind of stuff. Gotta slow down the idea so I can
Maybe
like
you'll do a
focus.
retreat, Sagana. Maybe you'll plan a retreat.
You put it out there, so hey. I
Don't
yeah,
do a
we
retreat.
that's
I'll just guide you. But if y'all want to come to Ghana and with Kim, do a retreat, and
yeah,
I'll
let's
certainly
okay.
find you.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. All right.
Yes.
That's doable. It is doable. Yeah.
You guys want to go
Okay.
on a retreat to Ghana? Email Kim and tell her and get at least 10 of y'all, and that's a trip.
All right. All right. See that no. Okay. Yep. All right. That's gonna be oh yeah. And that'll be I've been to Nigeria, but that's it.
That's
So
a
I
trip.
need it's time for me to get back home. And I did call it home, y'all, because looking at I did the DNA stuff, but I knew I was Nigerian anyway, because when I went over there, they were like, they call people sister, but they when they said it to me, I was like, oh hey, they were like, no, like for real. Um, and I got a name and everything, so I'm a Daisy princess. I guess I was a little bougie.
Ajua, that's my name, Ajua.
Ajua, what's it mean?
It means it's a Monday born. So in Ghana, the day of the week that you actually born, you have to give a name.
Mm.
So I'm Dawn Ajua. That's my name. So
Don Ajua. Oh, that's
it's
pretty
it's like
though.
it's like horoscopes. You know how like if I'm a Capricorn, so there's all these associated traits and characteristics of being born in December or being
Oh,
Capricorn. Ajuas have characteristics and traits, so it's
I
interesting because
gotta
I
look
do
mine up.
look
Hmm.
up. So find out what day of the week you were born. You can just
Pretty
Google
sure it was a
your birthday,
Sunday.
day of the week, and then that's
Hmm.
your Ghana name.
Okay. I love it.
All of y'all, when y'all
All right.
come to Ghana, have y'all's names ready because we're gonna call you those names.
See, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna have a good time. Well, Don, I had a good time today, even though I ended in tears. They were happy tears. And I'm thankful that you did this today. I know our time zones and all that stuff are all over the place, but you're used to that because you were a globetrotter. And as we roll out of here, tell us how that we can get in contact with you.
So, social media, I'm on all social media under Dawn Dixon. I'm on LinkedIn. I do respond and I do engage there. I have a website, dawndixon.me, and you can contact me there. You can book a session with me there. You can reach out to me. We can chat. And yeah, I really would love for y'all to come through Kim because I want Kim to do this retreat. So if you want to do this retreat, hit up Kim. But if you
Yes,
want to chat,
definitely.
hit me up on LinkedIn, and that's where I mean I'm there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you really want like if you're serious about wanting to figure out like all the ins and outs of relocating to Africa, then book a session with me and I'll definitely give you all of the resources.
And stay tuned because we're gonna have some save the dates after a while because this is gonna happen. My kids are they grown. You don't have to pay for their tickets and stuff. I can just be me. So I'm like, yeah, this is time. It's time.
Yes, it's a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all love it. Ghana is everything. I love it here.
All right. And if you don't follow it on social media, which I'm sure you do, because if you breathe in, you should please do that because her stories and just living vicariously through her is everything.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, y'all.
thank
Thanks,
you.
I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
I love you too. And I can't wait to see you in person in Africa, not in Ghana, not in the US. I want to be there. But if you come here before then, before I get there, that's cool. But I want to be where you are.
Yes, and my house is getting ready, so you are welcome. By the time you come, hopefully my guest house is finished getting built, so you'll have a whole guest house to yourself.
You listen to this, y'all. Guest house. What?
Yes.
All right. Well,
Affordable.
thank
It's
Yeah, I'll just
affordable.
say that you be royalty over there.
Yes, I'm building a whole guest house for like $40,000. So yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, I got some conversations to have with some folks.
Mhm.
Um, and stay tuned and you'll hear more. This is exciting.
All
Thank
right. Bye.
you. Bye.